Minimalizing or minimalization is quite a fad today, and I think it started from a book by a Japanese author, I think Wabi Sabi or something like that, right? Something which on minimalization, which said you should declutter, throw away things that you do not need. I would say throw away things that you do not need, which you won't use again, but that is not applicable to books, because any of these books I'm going to visit them one day and read about it, either for nostalgia or for learning or anything like that, right? So many books which have I mean, I've skimmed through every book in this library, but I do not know how many I will revisit. But I'm not willing to throw it away. So everybody has their own ideas of minimalization, and some work, some don't. So what will work for you is something which you have to decide. But here I'm not talking about minimalization in your life. I'm talking about minimalization in your portfolio. I think it was Morgan Housel who had come for one of the CFA meets here in Bombay, when he said all his money is just in two funds, right? The Berkshire Hathaway fund and some I think Vanguard index fund or something like that. And he said, my life is very simple. It's just a house, checking account, which in India can translate to a savings bank account, and these two funds. That's it, right? So that's what he does. That's how he has kept his money. And we think that to get good returns, you have to have a big, long variety of products. And so we add on a large cap fund, a mid cap fund, a contrarian fund. Every fund house in India has at least 50 schemes, right? And every CEO thinks all your money should be put in all the schemes. So you have when the CEO talks to you, you would love to believe that you are some treasury head with some 25,000 crores, and therefore you can put 1 rupee in every scheme. That's the kind of amount that you can put, considering the number of schemes that we have. Of course, then you have to put some money in ULIPs, you have to keep some money in fixed deposits, because banks are your friends. So imagine keeping your money in all banks, keeping your money in all mutual funds, keeping your money in all insurance companies, and keeping your money in real estate, right? So is it even physically possible, or is it worthwhile? The answer is no. Answer is that can be very simple. And the other way to look at it is, if I drop dead today, what would be my advice to my daughter and my wife? My daughter is perfectly capable of understanding why this fund and all that, but she's not interested, right? My wife would say it's too complicated, I don't want to know. So my simple advice would be to put money in an index fund and put money in some long duration bond fund or some in short duration bond fund. That's it. And say don't touch the other two funds as long as you have money in the short duration fund, or just avoid all complications. Keep all the money in 60% or 50% in an index fund and 50% in an ultra short bond fund. That combination should work for me, and it should work for my wife. But will I ever do that? Answer is no, because I like to be in mid cap fund, large cap funds, complicated funds, contrarian funds, and the CEOs believe that everybody should be invested, and they will tell you, look, this fund of ours did so well in the last 3 years, but 3 years ago they did not tell me to put money in that fund. They asked me to put money in the NFO, which at that point, if I had put, I would have got something like minus 6%. But what they are showing me is a fund in which they've got 24% in the last 3 years. But you did not tell me 3 years ago, in 2000, and if suppose we are in 2022 now, did they tell me that in 2019? No, they also didn't know. But in retrospect, everything will work, because if you've got 40-50 funds, you've covered the whole market, right? The market, there are very few, maybe 5%, say 10% of stocks which create wealth for you in the long run. So if you are in those 10 funds, 10 companies, you made it in life. But to pick up 10 out of the 3,000, 5,000, 9,000 universe, that is the challenge, right? So what will work for you, depending on the AUM that you have, the amount of money that you have, this should work. That's 60% or 50%. Let's say you're a retired person. Let's say you are a 60-year-old, you're no longer employed, and you're sitting at home, or rather you're doing something but which is not giving you enough money. Maybe you're teaching mathematics to children near your poor neighborhood, or near in a poor neighborhood, right? So something like that is what you're doing, but you're not making money. So therefore you have to live off your portfolio, and say your annual expenses are about 10 lakhs. So Subra has told you that you need about 3 crores. how much you have is about 12 crores, right? You accumulated over the years, and you got one flat in Bangalore, you live in a flat in Mumbai. You were contemplating buying a flat in Pune, but somehow you didn't buy. So you got two flats, you got one office which you have given on rent. Plus you have 34 schemes in which you have got X amount of money, but you need only 3 crores, right? So technically speaking, if this 3 crores were put even in a savings bank account, this man can live comfortably, simply because if inflation is about 4%. Of course, I'm assuming there is there anyway, he's got another 9 crores with which he does not know what to do. So what does he do? He's got a mid cap fund, large cap fund, you name it, and multi asset, multi cap, flexi cap, and all those kind of funds. He's got 30-40 funds. And what does he do? He keeps watching their portfolio. Then he calls up people and says, what do you think? Why has this fund manager sold off Infosys but the other fund manager is holding? I do think Sun Pharma is a good share, but I don't know why this fund is holding only 16% in Fund Pharma, etc., etc., etc. Completely useless, inane discussions. Not that the fund manager is going to listen to you, right? If I call up a fund manager and say, why are you holding stock A instead of stock B? He or she is just going to stop picking my phone. So I have no intentions of doing that. So will indexing work for me? Yes, indexing will work for me. Why do I do this? I have fun doing it. So I have direct equity. I have index funds also. I have an international index fund. I have various kinds of things going for me, right? Do I need it? No. Does my wife need it? No. Does my daughter need it? No. My wife does not need it, because this will get whatever returns it gets. It's going to be more than sufficient for her standard of living that she has. She's got a house paid for. She doesn't use any other asset, so it's fine, perfectly all right. She'll be able to live the rest of her life very comfortably. Why will my daughter not be interested? Because she is interested in a career which looks like fund management, but it is not fund management, right? So she may not be interested in this. So therefore, again, simplicity. So simplicity works. But we think that complexity means better returns. Imagine you come to me and you have 500 crores to invest, and I tell you I'll charge you 1% fee, and that fee is 5 crores, so which you have to pay me upfront. So now you have got 495 crores to invest. And if I take it and put it into two index funds, maybe one international index fund, or maybe one Asia index fund, or Asia ex Japan index fund, I need to cover Korea, Taiwan, China in one package. So I put it in that. I put in an international index fund, and I put into Nifty or Sensex or something like that, or a BSE top 100 fund, right? And then I say, oh, you need to take some term insurance, or he said, no, you have adequate money, you don't need any insurance, you don't even need medical insurance, but you might as well take some medical insurance. And if I just leave him at that, do you think he will feel justified that I charge him 5 crores? That I made it so simple? Answer is no. He will want something. So will I be very secure giving him such a simple option? Answer is no, because he wants the variety. I also have to give variety for my own insecurity, saying, oh my God, if I don't give him 5, 6, 8, 10 funds, why will he pay me 5 crores? So therefore I need to complicate. The advisor needs to complicate. The investor, if you are an investor, then you think you have to complicate, saying, how can such a simple thing work, right? So compounding, very simple thing, it works. You get up every morning, go for a 40-minute jog, it works, right? So you do it every day. It is about being persistent in what you're doing. So you put money in an index fund. Will there be funds performing better than you? Yes. Will there be funds performing worse than you? Yes. Will you always do well? No. Will you do well over a 5-year, 7-year horizon? The answer is reasonably surely yes. So what is wrong in this? Well, it's boring. Right? It's too boring. You can't stand in a party and say I put money in an index fund. So you need variety. That is the reason why we are saying minimalization is not working. It is working for nice, simple, smart people like Morgan Housel, but we are too intelligent, right? How can we just put money in an index fund? We need to put it into so many varieties. Ultimately, our regulator and our fund houses have created so much of variety for us. We need to taste it, right? You cannot go to a buffet and say I didn't taste all the 140 items which were there. So that's your job. It's my job to say you need only 3 items, leave the other 137. But if you think you get happiness by tasting all the food that is visible on the buffet, or are you interested in creating wealth for yourself in the long run? The answer seems to be same. Minimalization or decluttering works. Try it. Thank you.